Hey, I am really glad you're here today. Today, I want to talk about focus, attention, energy, and manifestation. And I want to give you a couple ways to actually use your focus, energy, and attention, and how to sort of do a trial or a test in your own reality and see what happens when you use it on purpose. I've done this a couple of times myself, and it's kind of fun to do. So I want to start off by saying that Joe Dispenza and Neville Goddard both talk about where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, that's how you're creating your reality. So as I talk about this, I want to talk about what's happening in your life right now. It is actually a manifestation of wherever you've been putting your focus and attention. And I know that's a little hard to take as just a full frontal statement, but the bottom line is that we are all powerful creators, and we're creating based on what we were taught to believe when we were kids, and even before we could think for ourselves, and what we focus our attention on now. So there's a couple of ways to test this out in your life, just to sort of give you an idea of how it works. And I know that it's a part of what's called the reticular activating system, which is it's a way that your brain functions. And what I did years ago was I thought I wanted a Lexus. I had been in a Lexus. I like how they drive. They're very smooth, they're very quiet. And I thought, oh, let me see if I can manifest a Lexus. So I thought about what color it was. I thought about the model and the year. And as I did that, I noticed that Lexus, the one I imagined, would pull out of an intersection in front of me. Like I'd be at a stoplight, and that would be when that car would drive by me. I would notice that they pull up next to me as I'm driving. The same exact car would be behind me. By the time the week was over, where I was sort of considering this whole idea of this particular Lexus, I I actually had one time where I was completely surrounded by this exact same car. It was the same, they were all the same color, the same model, the same everything. And I thought that was really interesting. So I thought, let me go test drive a Lexus and see if I really like this car, because I'm obviously drawing it to me. So I went to a Lexus dealer and I drove a Lexus, and when I got finished test driving this Lexus, I realized I didn't really want a Lexus. It wasn't as good or as wonderful as I had imagined in my mind. So I stopped thinking about it, and eventually I stopped seeing Lexus cars around me. But this is a way that you could test it for yourself. If you imagine a particular car or a particular something that you'd like to show up in your life, get really vivid imagination of what it would be like to have it. What color is it? What model is it? Where is it in the world? Where would you most likely run into this particular item, whatever it is? It could be an item, it could be a car, it could be a person, whatever it is. Just put all those parameters in place. Really get a vivid experience of it in your mind, and then see what unfolds as the week goes by. So, another way that Neville Goddard would do it, he would do it with a group of people in an audience by teaching him the ladder technique. And he would have them all imagine very clearly climbing a ladder. Whatever kind of ladder they could imagine in their mind, that's the ladder that they would be climbing. And he told them to do this every night for a week. And during the day, he would tell them to say in their mind occasionally when they thought of it, I'm not going to climb a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. and they would go away and come back a week later, and every one of them had climbed a ladder. And it was just a really interesting thing to see how the mind works when we put our focus and attention on something. So go ahead, give this a shot in your life. It's really fun to try. And if anything happens for you, put a comment down below. Also, if you're interested in working with me, there's a link in the description. So until the next video, I will talk to you soon.